Welcome in. Here we are. We got the video going, and we're basically taking a little closer look at the classic model, the new Colt that we picked up and everything. So, uh, the first video is on the channel, the main channel there. The first video with it, and it was really just the first impressions. Literally, the first impressions with this thing. That video really was like the first time pulling this thing out of the box and checking it out and everything. And I did do a second video later as a follow-up to some of the stuff I did to this thing, because I did do some changes to it. But so we'll actually talk about that right here on this channel, and talk about the changes that I did on this thing, and that some things that I left. There was one other thing I was thinking about doing, but I'm still on the fence on doing it, but we'll see. So here it is. Wow, yeah, it's so right there internally, I will tell you, this has a 20-pound recoil spring. I put a 20-pound recoil spring in it, along with the Wilson Combat shock buff. Also, take a look at the nice roll marks. You'll notice now, really can see the glorious, all of that. Hopefully it pops up on the video. All right, so what did I do? Well, as if you're gonna have something like this, for me, it's all about that Ram Pit pony and everything like that. So um, might as well bring it out. So do a little inlay work, as I've done in the past to a lot of my stuff. And there's multiple ways you can do this. You're basically just filling in the lettering and everything with something that pops. I chose gold for this one. I went ahead and just did it in gold. Sometimes silver, depends on the gun. Sometimes silver doesn't come off as silver. I guess it also depends on what kind of silver you get. So there's so many different ways you can do this. Like I said, I mean, you could even go and do this with crayons. Some of those mega pack crayons, they have all those metallic colors and everything like that. You could do it with paint, anything that sticks and holds up really well. All right, next thing is I took off the walnut stocks, or the rosewood stocks, and put the classic phenolic resin type 50s grips on it. Those are those red ones here. And of course I did my own touch by adding some splattering on some paint and everything like that to just kind of off change it. Of course you got the nice Ram Pit pony in the middle there. All right, the other thing we did, put an arched mainspring housing on it. So it kind of, and actually personally for me, that's all about, I like the way it feels with an arched mainspring housing. I do not like the flat mainspring housing. I just don't. I like the way the arched one fits my hand. I really think that was a great improvement. So overall, this thing is not supposed to be an exact copy of anything anything in particular, but it does have that theme of the 50s. By the way, this roll mark is, I absolutely love it. Just take a look at that. Take a look at the layout on it. It's great. I love that roll mark. I think I have another one I still have another government model, Series 80, I think, that has the billboard looking roll mark on it, that was always like, I don't know, it's okay, but it's not that. I did have a full-size government model, one that was like that. I got rid of that. But I had gotten rid of a couple other pieces just to kind of make room for this one. So I got rid of a couple, pawn shopped them off, kind of a thing. And in moves this one. Also helps offset the cost for these things, because you can't always, as much as I would love to, just keep them all and afford more. Can't do that. Finances and everything like that. So anyway, for now, this is pretty cool. I really like it. One of the things I really like about it, it's got a National Match barrel. Something like this, for them to do and take that extra step, especially this configuration. I love the plain Jane GI looking configuration that this thing has. I love that beaver tail on it, the spur serrated hammer, you know, the standard, you know, really iron sights for say, just real nothing to write home about. But these I can actually see really well. So, and I may actually put a little gold dot right on the front of that. I may do that. We'll see. But it shoots really well the way it is. I really like it. So it's fantastic. These, because they just came out with them, they're readily available. They're everywhere. You can pick them up. But you know, something like this, the quality that this thing is, I see this thing going up in price a little bit. That's just me. Some people say, well, I wouldn't buy a new one at all. My honest opinion is this new one, to be honest, my buddy has a rail gun as well, and it's a newer one. And we have found that both of these, including his, are pretty, they kind of surpass the old ones, they really do. I do have an old commercial one. This is probably from the 30s. It's an old commercial gun. You guys seen this one? It's a Colt. It's got all the markings on it, the really cool stuff on it and everything. And it's a good shooter, it really is. But of course they're all more accurate than we are, but I can tell you I've done better with this. I love the way this one feels. I love the way this one's put together. It's really solid. If I had a choice, if they said, hey, you're going to go to the range for the day and blast some rounds, you know, we're going to give you a free case of ammo and we're going to blast, I'd be taking this one for sure. And this has nothing to do with, oh, that's an older one, I don't want to wear it out or anything like that. No, it has nothing to do with that. This just shoots better. It does. It just shoots a lot better. Everything is so well put together. The slide to frame is amazingly done very well. I mean, you can, it's just, you look at it, you're like, wow, this is really put together really well. Some people complain, it's so funny, it's like people always complain about that. Oh, the slide to frame fit, it's so sloppy and blah, 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 yet, but they're the ones sitting there holding a Glock or something, and that thing you can literally see through the thing, and it's like, come on, man. Why do you think those old war guns work so well when they got dropped in the mud and the crud? Because they were really loosely fitted. Now this one's really tight. You know, not too much wobble there. Of course, I've sent down 500 or more rounds down range, but I don't care about that. That doesn't bother me at all. In fact, the more it loosens up, the smoother it seems to run. And I run the grease through it. Actually, since I picked this up, and I've been doing shout outs here with it here and there, I'm talking about it. I've been actually running the Wilson Combat Ultima Lube. This one's called the Ultima Lube 2 Universal. Stuff actually does work really well. It stays put where you know, put it on there on the rails and everything. It actually stays there, and you can hear the difference. And man, there's some resistance on that thing. 20-pound recoil spring with the shock buff. And you can actually, I did take a look at the shock buff, and I'll do a video on that. You can actually see where it is hammering on it. Yeah, sometimes some of this stuff is a little gimmicky, but not. I don't feel the shock buffs are a gimmick. I think they really do impact and stop that metal-to-metal contact. You can actually hear it when you can actually hear it buffer that when it comes through it. You don't get that clunk like you do with the steel on steel. And I got everything, all my stuff is ran with them right now currently. Even this one here, my Inland, it's got a shock buff in it. Now this one I believe has got the 18.5 pound. Yeah, this has got the 18.5 pound recoil spring in it. I will be picking up more 20s because it seems to be that's the one that I like the most. It does absorb a lot of recoil and it lasts longer. It does last longer with these things. So, yep, and that's my World War II replica kind of project gun that I do things to from time to time. It's got an arch checkered mainspring housing and everything like that. So But anyway, you know, I just wanted to really just do a nice little follow-up and chat about this thing, the Classic. I absolutely love it. This thing is just fantastic. I love it. It's so great. You know, of course, that's talk about the changes again. You know, like I put those grips and I put the arch mainspring housing on it to give it that look. I will actually search down more of these grips because I think they're really neat. The fact that you know some people say, oh my gosh, you know they're really expensive from Triple K, but I'm just glad somebody makes them. I'm just glad that there's somebody that still has them. They're out there. So you can find them here and there, pick them up at shows. I did notice that some of the older ones have shrunk a little bit, so something to keep an eye on. I've noticed that from the shows, like especially some of the ones I saw in the shows. One guy had a set, but he wanted a little too much for him because they were in bad shape. They were warped, they were shrunk. Yeah, they just aged terribly, but these ones did not. In fact, uh, now that I've had these for a while, and you guys have you haven't seen the video, go check it out. It's on the main channel. It's like a trilogy of videos that I did. It's the final one I did with those. Even though they were a price tag of about $60 from vintagegrips.com. I love them. They're worth every penny because they really add that vintage look to it. They really do, and I love that color. That color is just awesome to me. So I almost might even order a second pair. I may even just do that just to have some on hand because you never know when stuff like that just suddenly disappears. You can't get it anymore. So there it is, the Colt Classic. Am I happy with it? Am I satisfied with it? Absolutely, 100%. Love it. It's great. It's fantastic Colt. 45. It's a blaster. It's great to take to the range, and it's a classic. That's kind of how it is for me. I love the classic look, and so yeah, that's just kind of the way I do it. Get rid of some stuff to accommodate something new. I'm sure I'm not the only one that does that.